Welcome to another edition. Matt, we're getting good at this, aren't we?
It's good to be with you every week, Matt. You're awesome. Yeah, love it.
Well, I'm not so sure if I want to give up my Saturday mornings every week, but this has been fun so far.
This has been. Did you
Yeah.
make some breakfast this morning with your family?
No, I went on a 6 mile run. I had a bagel and I've got my electrolyte drink, and I
Hey,
think I think I'll be able to make it until the end of the show today. So we probably should get started before I lose consciousness here and fall out. So
let's do it.
um,
We're excited for today.
Yeah, definitely. So we've got some really cool young people. The youngest today is an 8-year-old, or was it 7? I can't remember, but we'll find out. We also have a 9-year-old from Saudi Arabia, and a couple folks from Tennessee. So we've got people all over the place here. So let's go ahead and
Nice.
get to our first young person. His name is Luca, and let me bring Luca in. Hey, Luca, how are you?
Good. How are you?
Great.
Good to
So
see you this morning, Luca. That's a cool robot you have in your hands. We're excited to hear about it.
exactly. Yeah, so Luca, what we do, we start with giving the young entrepreneur a minute or so, or however long you want, to talk about what you have built and what you're trying to do. And then we'll have some questions for you after that. You ready?
Yes.
All right, good deal. Well, let's go ahead. I'm going to ask you just to tell us about your work. Yeah, go for it. You're on.
Um, what I've learned is that it takes time for customers, and also that um not to give up when you feel down.
They want you to tell them about your business.
Yeah, tell us a little about your business.
I got I recycle the wood from the ground, and I pick it up and I use it, and there's a place called Potter's, and we go there, and there's a bargain bucket, and it has a whole bunch of nails, and it's $1, and you get a whole bag of it, and that's how I use these.
So what do you build? What is your business?
It's rustic robots. It's called Rustic Robots.
Yeah, can you bring it a little bit closer to the camera so we can take a look? Yeah, and roll it around a little bit. So tell us about that.
This is I called him Charlie the astronaut. Um, this is his little signal here. It's a nail, and these are his arms. And this is his uh thing. It's thing so he can breathe in
Oh,
space.
like a
And
backpack or a or
yeah,
oxygen tank.
yeah, an astronaut take. And this is a little pipe. I've colored it to make it as a pipe to like go to his mask.
Uh
Can you
huh.
see?
Yep. Yep.
And where do you sell your robots?
I sell my robots on Facebook.
Wow. Okay. So let's go and get into some questions. I know Mom is there helping. Thanks, Mom.
Yes.
Um,
Hi. Yes.
yeah. So you want me to start, Matt?
Sure. So,
Okay.
Luca, tell us about how much do you charge for each robot? How long does it take you to build them, and what types of people are buying them? So, tell us a little bit more about that.
Um, it takes maybe half an hour to build them if I build like a really big one.
Cool.
This one only took like 6 minutes to build, and I sell them for like this one was 30, and I did a big one, and that one was uh, it was $40.
Here, let me sit with you.
Yeah. Come on, join in, Mom.
Yes. You're gonna have to make room for me. Hello. I'm not sure.
Hello.
Hi.
Hi. he
Good morning.
his prices vary, but he sells them on Facebook, so he tries to include shipping. He's sold a few locally also, so yeah, his
I've
prices
had
vary.
I've had 3 customers so far, and I've been doing this for 2 years.
So let me ask some questions, Luca. So how did you get? Where did this start? What happened that you started to think about selling these, making and selling these?
I didn't have a lot of money, and I wanted to make some, and I see Mommy and Daddy having a business, so I found some wood, and then I started to build like toys, and then I thought of just making robots only, and then I called them rustic robots.
And so how old were you when you started?
7.
Fantastic.
So tell me about what you learned from your parents' business. What do they do, and what have you learned from them?
My mom does crystals, and she films them, and she makes money. And Daddy does. He used to do some boards. They're called cutting boards and woodcraft.
Nice.
And he slices them and he makes them really smooth. And people buy them, but he doesn't do them anymore.
Yeah.
He's taking a break.
Yeah.
He's building our house.
Oh my goodness, that's fantastic. So let me ask another question. So you said that you wanted to earn some money. You didn't have any money, so you wanted to earn some money.
Yeah.
Did you buy anything with the money you earned?
Yes.
What'd you buy?
I bought Jurassic World toys because I like Jurassic World and Jurassic Park.
I see that on your T-shirt.
He
And your
also
hat.
bought a gorilla suit.
I also bought a gorilla costume. It's still big on me though. I wear it in the winter because it's hot in the summer.
Yeah.
And to keep me warm in the winter.
Okay, so what was the thing that you learned most about your work? Like, what was the hardest part, maybe, about building these and selling these robots?
The hardest part was to find wood, because it took a while for me to find wood, and banging the nails in is hard too. They don't go in so well.
And also sticking with it and not getting discouraged.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
He gave up for a few weeks.
Yeah, he wanted to give up for a few weeks because he felt like he wasn't
making enough money.
And suddenly, they got a couple of customers.
Yeah,
Okay,
and then,
Matt, go
then
ahead.
suddenly he started getting customers, and that encouraged him, so he kept going. Mm-hmm.
So Luca, tell me about your approach to schooling and education. What do you like to learn, and what's your schooling experience like?
I like to learn about math.
And where do you?
I'm in 3rd grade, and I just did my exam a couple days ago. And they're going to tell us if I've passed the English on May 19th. And if I haven't, I'm going to go back to 3rd grade.
We're in Tennessee, so they've just signed in the retention law, so he has to pass his reading portion of the test. But we homeschool, so
Gotcha.
he had to do it. He's worked very hard studying for his test.
And for a present, my mom and dad gave me a Taco Bell credit card, gift card, and I spent 2 days after that. I spent it all on a Taco Bell meal.
Nice.
Fantastic. Okay, Mom, I'd like to move it towards you now in the last few minutes we have. So tell me about your thinking related to Luca, and I guess Dad is there too, but you're thinking about Luca and being an entrepreneur. What's your thoughts on that?
Well, we just want to encourage him as much as possible and support him however we can. We think it's great that he's started this business, and I think that it has real potential to grow if he sticks with it. These little robots are pretty cool.
They're very fun.
Yeah.
Matt?
I'm with Sorry, hi there. I'm in the other room. I've got two of our youngest here. I'm trying to keep them occupied. So.
I don't know if you can hear how well you can hear my husband. We have
can hear.
5
Yeah.
children. So.
We can hear him.
Nice.
Matt, did you have something else?
Just wondering if you. Oh, there's a sister. That's great.
She's 2 years old. So
Okay.
I'm interested in kind of how you view entrepreneurship as part of your homeschooling strategy. Why do you do it? What do you find the value of entrepreneurship? And are you involved with Tech Trip Academy as well in Tennessee?
We are. Yes,
Nice.
we're in Tech Prep Academy. We have 3 children in Tech Prep, and it's been great. Yeah,
Good.
it's full
Talk
for
about
Luca.
your view of education and entrepreneurship.
There's so much for him to learn. So it helps him with his math. It helps him develop as a person.
The value of things.
The value of things.
He also saves money because he helps to feed our animals in the morning, and he gets paid an allowance every week.
Good.
Yeah, we
morning
have a
scores.
homestead. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. What's on your homestead?
We raise pigs, chickens, and then we have ducks, livestock guardian dogs, quail.
Awesome.
That is
What a
fantastic.
great environment to learn and grow.
Definitely.
Yes, absolutely.
So again, what we're about is trying to help connect the learning of entrepreneurship to really life and how powerful entrepreneurship is as a tool to learn. And so what I've heard from you already, and Luca, I hope you're hearing this, I've heard that you've learned something called resilience. The idea that if you start something, sometimes you just have to stick with it, and it'll start to happen after you've stuck with it a while. Things don't usually happen quickly, and so sometimes, and I think you've probably learned that with your work, so that's hugely important. I think you also learned about the importance of building something and having people that actually want it. And so your mom and your dad both think that what you're working on has some value. I agree. I think it's a lot of fun. And we would love to kind of help elevate your work. And so we'll definitely share some of your work online and hopefully get you some more customers. So any last words, Luke? Anything you'd like to share with us before we kind of close out the conversation today?
No.
Did you have a question for them?
No.
You didn't?
No.
Okay.
You don't want to know how I do my hair or anything like that? Like,
I do have a question. What was yours first business?
Great question. Matt, you want to?
Yeah, I'll start. My first business was when I was 17. I started an education company then, which was to teach neighbor kids all the sports that I love. So I was 17 and would bring the neighbor kids would come over and they'd pay $10 or something for a summer camp. And I would teach them basketball and volleyball and soccer and things that I love. So it was an all sports camp that I ran when I was 17.
Nice.
And I love it. I love education. I love education entrepreneurship.
That's a great question. I didn't know that about you, Matt. And so for me, Luca, my first entrepreneurship job was actually a social entrepreneurship. It was an education reform nonprofit, so working to change how school works. And it required a lot of creativity, a lot of fundraising and finding monies to support the work, a lot of interacting with families. And so entrepreneurship can take many forms. It can be what you're working on where you actually build something and then you sell it. What Matt worked on, which is a service to kids and families, it sounds like. And then what I was working on was, hopefully a service to mankind, where I was helping people and getting funds from others to help those people. So there's lots of ways entrepreneurship can look, but the key is that you learn that you can influence your future. You can actually do things that can create money or do things that help people or help society. and it's in your hands. And so I want you to continue. I encourage you to continue. It sounds like with your parents, you'll definitely do so. So looking forward to more conversation with you, though, Luca.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, and just real
Thanks,
quick,
Luca. Good luck.
yeah, here's just the next moves, Mom and Luca. Next week, next week we will have done all the interviews, and we will have the finalists announced, I think, around the 6th. So once that, we'll send an email out to let people know about the finalists, and then there'll be a process that will follow that, described in the email. All right.
Well, thank you so much.
Thank you, Luca, for sharing your work and your business, and looking forward to having further conversations with you in the future. Okay.
You're welcome.
All right. Take care.
Bye.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you. Bye.
Thank you. Yep.
Thanks.
Okay, so boy, 8 years old and already
Great.
inspired by his parents to start building and growing. Man, I didn't know that about you. So at 17, you started your first business, huh?
Yeah.
And how did you? Yeah, go ahead.
Well, my mom was a high school business teacher. And so she was involved with an organization called FBLA, Future Business Leaders of America, I think it was called. And so part of that, it was just like, hey, is there something you want to do to earn money in the summers? And, I love sports and into all kinds of sport activities. And so I thought, let's have a summer camp, and brought kids from the neighborhood, and everybody loved it. Right. I mean, just think about a couple hours in the backyard with high school athlete and these kids looking up to him and wanted to come play. And I did an all sports camp. It wasn't just a basketball or, one sport, it was all sports. So we set up volleyball nets and soccer goals, and, it was a lot of fun.
What I find interesting is that your mom didn't tell you to get a job. She encouraged you to earn or to create value, was really another way of putting it. And so thinking about what you were interested in, what you'd like to do, and what others might find valuable, then you spun that into a business. How long did you do that?
Just one summer.
Yeah. And then at what point did you take that or had you always been thinking about entrepreneurship from that point on?
No, I then became a teacher.
Yeah.
So I taught in the schools, and I was a 6th grade teacher. But then I always did supplemental entrepreneurship, right? To make ends meet. We had 4 children at the time. And so I had, at one point when school started, I think I had 7 different jobs.
Oh my.
Right. So just trying to make ends meet with on a teacher salary, and teacher's a great job. It just you don't have enough hours, really. And so the pay is good, but you need to supplement it with other things. And so that's where I turned into part-time entrepreneur and did that for many years.
Gotcha. Well, very cool. Well, that's interesting backstory. I didn't really know about that. So it looks like our next guest is here. Ibrahim, are you available?
I always did supplemental entrepreneurship.
C'est déjà connecté.
Ibrahim, are you there?
So I had, when school started, I think I had 7 different jobs.
Let's see if we can get this set up here.
J'enlève le... Je veux ça là. Je sais pas si
Ibrahim, can you hear me?
Tu entends?
Yes.
Mais
Okay, you can hear me okay?
Yes.
Okay, good. Let me get you assigned here. There you are. Hey, good morning for us. Did I lose your connection? Are you guys still there? Okay. You can hear me okay?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, so Ibrahim, welcome.
il est connecté.
All right, let's check it. Let's check the mic here. Ibrahim, can you hear me?
Yes.
You can hear me. Okay. All right, good deal. So let's go ahead and get started. So welcome. What we are going to do is we start by having a brief conversation with the young learner about their business. And again, you're doing Legos, right? Is that correct? Yeah. So can I give you like a minute or to tell us about your business and the work that you do and maybe what you're learning with it, and then we'll have some questions for you. Is that okay?
Okay.
Okay. Well, why don't you go ahead and start? Tell us a little bit about your business, Ibrahim.
Well, my business is about teaching kids how to jump from building the normal basic Lego, a bit like this that I built.
Mm-hmm.
You see, it's made of like these very simple things. You see,
Yep.
you can just push them together. This is very easy. Anyone can do it. To way more complex things. 1 second, let me just get one to show you. There, something a bit more
Whoa.
like this. You see,
Wow.
for example, here there's like pistons. When you turn the back wheels, the pistons move. Here, when you turn this gear at the back, that's spinning, you see? And this is only one of the basic stuff. This is one of the basic stuff.
So, all right. So let's talk about that. So, that is that a kit that you use, or is it something you built on your own?
What I do.
Did you understand my
So
question?
it's not a kit. No, it's not.
Okay.
It is a kit, but we call it more like a set, like a Lego set. So the thing is, it is a Lego set that I built with instructions, but I also built a lot of things that I built without instructions.
And how do you teach
For
others?
example,
What's your model of teaching others how to do stuff? What do you use? Like YouTube or videos, or how do you teach kids about it?
My idea was like they come to my house or I go to their house and then I teach them.
Okay. So, and then, but you also have something on YouTube, correct?
Yeah, I have a YouTube channel
Yeah.
called Lego Techiners. By the way, maybe I'll change the name.
Okay. So,
And
so tell me more about your customers. What are your customers like? Who works? Who wants the services you're providing?
so it's about teaching kids how to jump from building the traditional Lego, the normal one, to building those complex Lego Technic things. I got the idea because each time, or most of the times my friends came, my friends were like really interested in all of my Lego Technic. Then their moms or their dads kept on asking me if I could teach them how to build Lego Technic. So that's how I got the idea.
Gotcha.
And what do you charge them for that service of teaching them?
I don't know. I had done it in Mauritius, where I used like and the currency. Yeah, so what I'm saying is I don't know in dollars. I know in rupees, basically the currency that we use in Mauritius was like I don't know. I don't know in dollars. I don't know.
That's okay. We'll
Yeah. How about in local? Tell me in local currency, how much did you charge?
Right now I'm in Saudi Arabia, but I'm in Mauritius. That's when I did my advert. The price is like I did a few different things. It's not only one thing that I do. For example, helping to build a set. It's like I think 100 rupees. Basically, I think 50 rupees is $1.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, 50. It's like $2 or something. And then 350 or something to like help to teach how to like start from start from the beginner to become quite advanced, and then I forgot.
No, that's okay. So, so are Legos pretty popular with your friends?
Not really.
No?
They do play Lego. They know what Lego is. One of my friends plays a lot Lego, but not the kind of Lego like Lego Technic. They play the small, not complicated kind.
Gotcha.
Where do you buy your sets?
I didn't know because it's rather my dad who buys them for and then he gives me them as gifts.
Yeah, that's the best way to do it.
By the way, I can show you. Yeah, I can show you a few of my sets. 1 second. Okay, this is another of my cameras. So here is one. You see?
Not sure if your camera is. Yeah, I'm not sure if your camera is.
In fact, no, I forgot something. Now does it?
Yeah, that's it.
Now it works. Okay, I forgot to put something. You see over there?
Oh, wow.
Wow. That's very cool.
Really impressive, Ibram.
And then here, see, I've got some other things. See, there's some of my booklets that I use. This is not my instruction booklets. It's like to get some ideas. And then over here, they're like the instruction booklets, you see?
Yeah.
Here there's like a crane. Here there's like a crane here. It's so big, there's literally 2 instruction booklets for only one. Look how complicated it is.
Yeah.
For example, this is an engine that you have to build step by step, like this kind of stuff. And it's by piece, like this.
Yeah.
There's no such thing as a mechanism or something. There's no such thing as pre-built.
Right. So you know what, Ibrahim, I'm curious. I'm on your YouTube page, and I have, when I was growing up. I'm not sure if you will switch your camera back or.
Yeah, I will.
Okay.
1 second.
Yep.
There.
Well, you're pretty tech savvy there, but my friend.
That's awesome.
Okay, so I'm on your YouTube page. I'm actually going to bring that up here in a second. Here, let me bring this up and assign everybody here.
Yeah. This is what I did.
Right, so this YouTube page, it's actually quite interesting. So it seems like because these are so complicated, that there is a population of kids that would want some help walking through step by step, and that's kind of what you're trying to offer, yes?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I know I'm not listening to this right now, but watching you clearly have expertise. You clearly have an ability to put these things together, and I'm sure that there's lots of situations where young people can get stuck in not knowing how to proceed in their Lego. So that's kind of what you're trying to offer, correct?
Yes.
Okay. All right.
Where did you learn such advanced skills? How did you gain those skills?
Well, it's my dad who knew a lot about this, and then he started teaching me, and then I got 3 books who show like little things to help build better. So then that's how I got really good at it. This is something that I built myself without any instruction booklet. It's an airplane.
Here, let me get a
So
bigger
that's an
image.
original construction, no booklet.
Yeah.
Wow.
And so here, there's a tiny black thing that you can turn, and it makes the propellers turn. Wait, one second, let me get this in the middle.
Yeah.
There.
So again, go ahead.
Here, you see, it makes this turn. And then if you turn the other side, it becomes like an airplane now.
Yep. Very cool.
At the back, there's also the cargo hold like this. It can open. Oh, wait. There, the cargo hold.
So that was made with spare parts, or like?
I get the sets,
Yeah.
but I don't keep them fully built all the time. For example, I keep them built, then I take them apart.
And make other things.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
For example, this used like pieces from many sets to be able to do it.
Gotcha.
I love that. That's great.
So tell us about what you're learning then, Ibrahim. What are you learning about in this building experience?
Well,
And yeah.
you learn a lot about like how to put things together, a bit like machinery. For example, it shows how to build like a real working engine. For example, you can build that. Shows you how. It shows you, for example, things on how cars work, like the transmission, how to like do a steering system and that kind of stuff. Also, here's another thing that I built. It's like a phone stand, because you see here at our house we have the internet on the phones, and it's better if it's standing up. So my idea was I could do this and and then instead of constantly taking it off and then putting it on, I just built a whole phone case out of Lego.
And it sits down.
So
You can sit it on a counter.
So wait, now it's on like the phone case. Then when you fold this out and then you press the little lock thing, then now you can just put it down. 1 second.
Yep, I see
You
that.
see like
Fantastic.
this?
Yeah.
And then
So you
there's
can
also
watch
the
the
top.
show or whatever.
On top there's a little lock. You see? Now it's unlocked. The phone can just slide out like this. But then to lock it, you put it down. Then you press the little thing at the back. And now it's locked. You can put it upside down like this. Boom, it doesn't come out.
Very cool.
And
Very
you
cool.
designed and created that without instruction manual.
Yeah.
Super
Okay.
impressive.
So where are you going with this, Ibrahim? What's your hope?
Well, like to be able, like to see kids instead of going and playing on phones and video games, they're rather gonna be like playing with like Lego or other stuff, learning that kind of stuff, instead of losing their eyeballs from playing from 6 in the morning to midnight on their PlayStation.
I agree. I love that. Okay, so let's talk a bit more about your business and then about your learning. So you're selling this to neighbor kids and friends. You're selling that service. When did you think about trying to go online and provide online coaching? When did you think about that?
So the thing is, I wasn't teaching it to like neighbors. I tried to teach it to my friends, but the thing is that they only came for like 1 hour or two, and then they were rather jumping around everywhere looking at all of my toys. I didn't have time to teach them.
Okay.
But then with my sister, she rather learned from watching how I build, but sometimes when she didn't know how to build things or something, I would just show her and then she would just build it like a million times.
Matt? Okay.
Yeah. Have you ever tried to learn 3D modeling or 3D animation? I think you might be interested. As I looked at your video, your YouTube channel, everything is just video and it's flat in your hand, or you try to hold it up. But if you learn how to do some 3D modeling, you could actually show some of your designs in 3D and let people look around at it instead of just a flat video. I was just curious if you've played around with 3D yet.
Not yet, no.
Is it something
No,
you might
I
be
think-
interested in?
No, maybe I've tried a Lego instruction booklet software where you can like make an instruction booklet, but I've never actually tried.
So here's an example. So what you're learning is really interesting. You're learning how you can drive your own learning. Getting those books, studying them and then taking what you've learned from the books to build new things, that's actually really cool. And I think what Matt's talking about it is the kind of next level, which are using some of this on computer. And I know there's a Lego partnership here where they can build Legos in online, and you're pretty tech savvy already. So there's something there that could be quite interesting. So I think that's an interesting idea, Matt.
Yeah, one tool is called Tinkercad, Ibram, that you might want to check.
I know what that is.
Okay, good. Yeah, Tinkercad. That's Autodesk's versions for kids to learn how to do 3D
I already know
models.
that. I use it.
Is that right?
I already use it.
Nice. Okay, so let's go back to then your work. I think that's a good idea, Matt, to kind of expand that work. I love the idea of you having a presence online. If people come to your house, there's a lot of barriers to then them learning when they're at their house. But I know there's a lot of kids all around the world who love Legos and I think would be quite interested in some of the things you've built. The hard part is finding them. And, you know, they're scattered all over around the world, and so it's hard to identify them sometimes. But do you think that you'd like to continue trying to coach kids, or would you like to go in a different direction in the future? Do you have any thoughts about that?
I would like to try to continue,
Yeah.
but like if there would be another way to still teach kids in a better and easier way, then I would definitely try it.
Here's on that idea, Ibram, is have you checked out outschool.com? Make a note of that. You could go create a course that you teach on OutSchool for kids wanting to learn advanced Lego design and production. So that's a way that, and they already have kids all around the world visiting outschool.com. You could create a course on that and host it whenever you want and teach kids that kind of topic. I think would be really popular on OutSchool.
Yeah. Probably
Like
be
coding and tech.
Yeah.
Yep. Robotics on the right.
Yeah. Let me move it around here. So
Under coding and tech. Yeah. Snap circuits, brick building, 3D modeling. Lots of cool topics there that you could fit in what they're already offering and do it in your own way. It could be a really fun way to, CAD's there.
You see this? So this is a class that someone is offered. David Salch is offering. It's $24 per class, and he's teaching kids how to do robotics. And so that's a place where, you know, your expertise might be valuable. I think that's an interesting idea, Matt.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Other thoughts? You know, the thing about YouTube is if you want to build an expertise around YouTube, you have to do a lot. You've got to constantly put more and more content on there, and that takes some time. But you know, my sense is right now I'm looking at your YouTube page, and you've got a couple interesting videos there, but it does take a long time to build that. So you'd like to continue it if you can find an easier way. I like Matt's idea about the OutSchool. That may be something worth thinking about. We're talking to your parents about. Yeah. So what do you like most about working with Legos?
Is that you're not always, like, you don't necessarily have to build always the same thing. For example, some other things, you get pieces designed to only build one thing, and you can literally build almost nothing else.
Yeah, that's right.
Whilst
That's by
with
design,
Lego,
by the way.
With like a tow truck, you can make an airplane, a helicopter, even a house.
Yep. Okay.
Tell me about your schooling, Ibram. Where do you go to school? What do you do for your formal schooling?
I'm homeschooled.
Okay. What are some of the things that you like to study about? besides Legos?
Maths and I don't really have a favorite thing to study. I don't really like to study.
Well, I don't agree. I think you do like studying because obviously you've done a lot of studying to learn how to build these Lego pieces, and so you definitely like to study. It's maybe what you're studying and when, but
We think you're learning a lot doing what you're doing,
Definitely.
Abram. So we think that's a great schooling experience.
definitely. Well, all right. So here's Ibrahim. We're running out of time here, but I wanted to thank you for this conversation. I love that you are one. You're clearly comfortable with technology in a way that is extremely valuable. That I think that's part of why Matt's idea may be really interesting to explore further. The idea of learning about CAD and what was it called? What was it called?
Tinkercad.
Tinkercad. And then the idea of OutSchool, you could take your expertise and begin to offer that. And I think there's actually a really interesting place for a 9-year-old. You're 9, correct?
Yes.
Yes.
Almost 10.
Okay. So a 9.5-year-old to teach other young people, I think that actually might be more interesting than an old bald guy like me teaching young people. So think about that. And as it relates to the award contest, we are going to be doing a last set of interviews next week. And then after that, we're going to announce who are the finalists for the final opportunity, their final meeting on the 20th of May. And so look for an email from us next week to let people know if you're in the finalists or not. But I tell you what, I really love what you're learning, as Matt said. I love that you are looking for ways to take your learning and to provide value to other people. And you're definitely someone I would love to stay in touch with and to hear more about your journey as you go along. So mom or dad or whoever's in the room, please stay in touch. We'd love to hear about your continued growth and development. So any questions for us?
No.
You don't want to know where I get my hair cut or how to... No? That's not interesting? Okay. All right.
Also, another thing.
Yeah.
My business, I looked on Google and everything. I searched and I didn't find anyone who was teaching Lego Technic. I found people who were teaching Lego Robotics, but no Lego Technic. That means that I'm around I'm maybe me and one or two, maybe 100 more in the world. That's it.
That's where I think an OutSchool class or investing in a 3D online with your YouTube channel could be really interesting.
Okay.
Yeah. I agree with Matt on that. The business term for that is the market niche. So you want to find a place where there's not a lot of competition. And I think that's kind of where you are. You're at a place where you've studied and realized that there are not a lot of people offering the service you want to offer. That's potentially an interesting opportunity. So, good luck. I love it. So, all right. So, Ibrahim, thank you so much for joining us today. Dad, if you're in the room, if you can hear us, thank you for your leadership of your kids. And we look forward to talking more with you in the future. Okay.
Okay.
Hello.
Hello.
Nice to meet you. Thanks for letting us borrow.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, thanks for letting us borrow your son this morning or this evening, I should say.
Thank you very much.
Okay, Ibrahim, we'll see you later, buddy. Thanks.
Okay.
Okay. See you.
Bye.
Okay. Bye.
Bye.
Bye. All right. I wish I had somebody to teach me Legos when I was a kid.
Oh, that's super valuable. The creativity, curiosity, chart your own adventure through new designs.
Yeah.
Pretty impressive.
Well, and then Matt, your idea about the Tinker Tech, it seems like he is just perfectly positioned.
Yeah, Tinkercad's one of the courses that we've built around is just an awesome tool from AutoCAD. You know, the leader in CAD technology has created that Tinkercad platform for young minds.
Yeah.
And what a great learning experience that creates. Just the visual, the math, the geometry, the angles, there's so much to learn around 3D modeling
Yeah.
that is super exciting. And I was actually in Dallas this past week, Matt, and
Ah.
visited a company based there called Built, BILT.
Uh-huh.
It's an app that they license the content from manufacturing companies who build instruction manuals for like grills or trampolines or, IKEA type
Yeah.
furniture.
Yeah.
And they
Sure.
convert the paper based instruction manuals to 3D models. And it's
Oh,
brilliant.
interesting.
It's interactive. You can look at all angles of the grill. You can see where the screw goes, where the wheel goes. And so we went through that whole business with them this past week, and it's so awesome. And I think that's where my mind was going with Ibram, was thinking about creating 3D modeling of his work.
Yeah. So the company you met with, they do this now for, IKEA and places like that.
Major brands, yeah.
Huh.
Yeah, if you look at a Built app, it's free it's a free app. So anything that you ever order that they have a partnership with, you should use them to help you put it together.
Interesting. Gosh, I tell you, that's such an
And it's all
interesting.
just 3D visuals, and they just bring in, they bring in the barbecue, they break it down. They have
Each
3D
piece.
scanners of each part.
Yeah.
Then they input all the CAD files and rotate them around, and
So
super cool work.
in the app you can move the piece around
Yep.
to see. That's very interesting.
Yeah.
Gosh, imagine the implications of that if you want to build anything. I mean, you've got a
they're
coach.
working on military contracts to build tanks.
Yeah, I'm
And
thinking.
so, and moving at actually one of the cool things they're thinking about is this whole need for, blue collar workers are retiring, and there's not the generation coming up, and so they have some organizations that are using their software to teach the next generation of product builders and construction makers. Really exciting.
That sounds very, very cool. Again, one of these very interesting places where most people don't know anything about what's happening there. So would someone who, I mean, back to Ibrahim, would him learning CAD help him in that space, you think? Or is it
Absolutely.
Yeah. How would
Yeah,
that look?
they're trying to formalize how to scale, and they need talented 3D artists to do that.
Okay.
And that's based right there in Dallas, just a little bit
Up the road.
Yeah, in your state. So
Yeah, up the road. All right.
super
Well,
cool company.
if you're ever back in Texas, man, you need to spend an extra 4 hours and come down to Houston. All right, we'll play some pickleball. Okay, so we've got a couple of another applicant who looks like she's running late. I don't know the status. Let me just check my email and see where she is. We've got people all over the world, and sometimes the time zone is a little bit tricky for folks. So Ibrahim actually was scheduled for for the next block, so he came early, and the other applicant looks like she is. She is. Yeah, I'm just waiting to see where she is. All right. Well,
go to this website real quick if you want. Thebuiltapp.com.
Yeah. Let me take a look.
BILT, just because it's in the same train of thought that we've been talking with Ibram about.
BILT.
App.com.
Built app.
Just even some of those visuals on the first page show you what's.
Yeah, let me bring it up here. And you're interested? What is this something you guys are thinking about offering in your school space or what?
Yeah, so we met with the founders. We went on a little visit of a bunch of cool companies in Dallas, and this was one of them that we went to. And you can see how it just has these grills and 3D applications. I mean, look how helpful that is to
Oh yeah.
assemble. So what I'm curious with them is how we can basically create a pipeline of skills, skilled workers for them, right? I think 14, 15, 16-year olds can learn Tinkercad and CAD and use the built platform to expand their development reach. And they're interested in chatting about that for teenagers who want. But even look at Ibram, he could probably do it as a 10-year-old.
Yeah, no kidding, no kidding.
I mean, his tech savvy skills from just switching microphones and
Oh yeah.
assembling motors and airplanes and helicopters, like he's
Yeah.
already
Yeah, he's
there.
already schooled up, and he's 9 or whatever it was.
Yeah,
So that's
and he's taking this physical world and creating the digital version of it,
right, right.
right? Which is what is a cool way to bridge.
Yeah, yeah. All right. Well, we've got our next applicant, Anya. Hey, can you hear me, Anya? Great. Let's
Yes,
bring you
I can
in.
hear you. Hello.
Hey, hello, Anya. Good to see you again.
Nice to see you too.
Yeah. So I thought we had maybe got our wires crossed about when for this interview, but glad you're able to make it, and looking forward to having a further conversation. Matt, Anya and I had I don't know, it was a couple months ago, maybe a month and a half. Nice conversation about the work she's doing. And so, Anya, this is semifinal round. We give you an opportunity to just share what you're learning. Well, first off, your business, what you're trying to do, maybe some of the things about your customers, what you're learning, and then we'll start with questions. So, you ready for that?
Yes,
Great.
of course.
You've got the floor.
Thank you. Okay, so I started an organization called Action Pact, which stands for Projects Advocating for a Kinder Tomorrow, about 3 years ago now. And basically, there's three goals to my project, which consists of education. So I educate students at my school and youth outside of my school just about different issues going on in the world. And then I teach them to communicate their ideas through discussion forums and things like that. And last, I'll teach them to take action through community service to make an impact. So basically, my project works for like many different causes. Like, um, we've done work for Bullets for Life, which is like gun violence prevention. We've done works for refugee assistance, for women's rights. There's many different causes that we've supported over the years. But I'd say like the central sort of principle that we've taken throughout this project is that we need to appeal to a lot of people and get a lot of people involved in this movement, which is where I think the business side of things comes in, because obviously it involves a lot of like publicity and creating a business model where you are able to fundraise and donate money to these causes that we all care about, but at the same time providing people with a platform to express their ideas and learn. So yeah, thank you.
Nice work.
Thank you. Oh, sorry, I can't hear you.
You're on mute, Matt. Can you
Sorry
hear me?
about that. Yep, I'm back. I brought up your website, Anya, and we'll show that to the group here in a second. Here, let me get
Okay,
you
perfect.
plugged in. So, can you talk us through this website for a second?
Sure. So, I created this website actually over winter break this past year. And it was just because, the project was getting to be really big. Like we were expanding. Right now we have 6 chapters in other schools, which are all going to be operational by the start of next school year. And so, the project just started getting so big that like I couldn't be like the only person who, could give the same sales pitch to you. Like I couldn't be the only person who knew that information. And so I just felt like it was going to be a lot easier to spread the work that we're doing through this website. And so I created it to just kind of like give people an idea of everything we're doing, as well as to quantify like the impact that we've made, because I think that that's the biggest way that we get people involved. Because like, when you tell them that you've raised this much money and that you've involved this many people, it becomes a lot more credible. Like the movement and the organization becomes a lot more credible. And so yeah,
Matt?
we could.
Yeah, I want to I want to hear about kind of the website development experience. How did you learn how to build the website? What tools did you find were helpful? Talk me through that experience.
Okay. So I used Google Sites for this project just because like I'd used it before for like school projects and stuff, and it was something that I was pretty familiar with. And basically, I just compiled. I already had like all the information about like my project on like a Google document, which I just written down. And so for the website, like I specifically compiled like photos and just like evidence or kind of stuff like of the impact that we've made. And then I also compile that with like information. So like for example, I would always do like little write-ups of like each project that we've done just so I had like a record of it. And that made my work a lot easier when building the website because I kind of already had those descriptions written out. And then like if you scroll to like if you the three little lines on the left
Oh,
and you go to like the
here?
impact section, uh like the navigation bar, yeah.
Yeah.
And if you go to like our impact, like you get to see like uh I'm sorry, I don't know why it's opening up like that, but it's supposed to
I
on a
shrank the screen to fit my image, so
Mhm.
that's okay.
It's
We
okay,
can,
but
yeah, we get the content.
yeah,
So twelve thousand
basically like
dollars.
that has like the numbers and everything, and then like if you go within like the my impact or our impact section, like you'll get to see the different projects that we've done. So like the same like navigation bar,
Oh,
and
okay.
then yeah, and then like the little like drop down our projects, like
Mm-hmm.
you can just click through anything that you want.
Nice.
And
Which one would you like to highlight?
so we could talk about Heel on Wheels right now.
Okay.
Yeah. So basically, this was like a bikeathon fundraiser, which I actually started during COVID, just because like we were all sitting at home and we didn't have like the ability to come together as a community to do anything um, that was like helping the issue of COVID-19. So I thought about how we could help from home, and basically just came up with this idea of like a bikeathon where everyone would like bike in their own neighborhoods and they would get like pledges from family, friends, whoever it is, just to raise money for like a central cause. And so um, we started with like the cause of COVID-19, and I raised money for the United Way of Broward County, which is like a local charity, as well as for UNICEF, and then for a charity in India called Gunj, because I'm from India, so like it's just personal to me. And then so we started kind of like with that cause. But like now we've expanded over the years. And so we've helped out the International Refugee Assistance Project for both Afghanistan and then the Center for Human Rights for Iran. So like we've picked like a different cause. Like now it's become an annual thing. So we just pick a different cause every year. But yeah,
Impressive.
Super impressive, Anya. Yeah, well done.
thank you so
How
much.
about the business? How about the business structure? What have you found you need to do from a legal paperwork and documentation, or do you just use, things out there already?
Yeah, so we haven't like registered as a nonprofit yet, just because like the money that we're collecting never goes through us, so it just always goes directly to whatever organizations we're fundraising for. So we haven't really had the need to register as a nonprofit yet, because we don't take any of the like you know we don't need like the stuff
You
that we use to run the organization has pretty much just been like for each chapter's like individual treasury. And so, like, from a business standpoint, I'd say for me, it's a lot more about making sure that, we make all these separate leaders self sufficient in the way that they run their chapter of our organization. And then, like, centrally, like, I'll obviously make like resources for them to just learn how to do that. Um, and so, yeah.
okay? So tell me about how's fundraising done? What's the because it sounds like you're almost like a facilitator of fundraising, but you said money goes directly to the organization that is being fundraised for. So give me the sense of this Heels on Wheels or Heel on Wheels. How was practically speaking? How did money come in, and how did you guys do to raise it?
Okay, so basically we like money always goes straight to the organizations. Like we'll have like a page that we set up with the organization for money to go to them. So we don't do any of the collecting ourselves,
Mm-hmm.
just to make sure it stays like credible and everything.
Yeah.
But what we do is like to fundraise, I'd say like the biggest way is through just like publicity. Like we'll get the project out. We'll get word out about the project through as many means as possible. Like obviously using social media, but then also like through our own school, we'll collaborate with a lot of other organizations, such as like the National Honor Society, the National Junior Honor Society, and we'll get the word out to students first, and then we'll give them like added incentives to participate, such as like service hours, and then they'll like go and tell like their parents, their families, their friends to participate as well. And so it's pretty much just like about publicity for us, I'd say.
Gotcha. So you get the word out. You help it when an organization identifies a need. You get the word out and marshal your connections to get action, to get fundraising done or volunteers identified, etc.
Yes.
Another
And we'll
question.
also,
Oh, go ahead.
we'll also plan like central projects through our own like organization, because like we do these things like as a community. Like we'll do a lot of other for example, we do a thing called Bullets for Life, which I think I talked about last time, but it's an event that we organize like together for, kids in our school to all come together and like basically the organization is like a gun violence prevention organization. So they collect bullets from people who've like given up their guns, and like just around South Florida, like it's a local thing. But they'll collect bullets from them, and then they'll come to our workshops, and we'll destroy bullets to make bracelets out of them. And so like the money that we raise, like we charge like a $10 like admission fee to come to the workshop, and so all the money that we raise goes to victims' families in South Florida. So like we've raised money to buy like a headstone for a grave. We've raised money for mental health counseling, things like that, as well as for like gun violence, like activism, like for lobbying and things like that. So uh, I haven't updated this page yet, actually, but just like a week ago, we had another workshop at our school where we raised about $1,300. Sorry, give me a second. I'm so sorry,
No
but
problem.
basically, yeah. So we do those workshops, and that's like a way I think for us to. We're working with this organization, but these workshops are something that we've started. So it's like an idea that we've brought together like all these teenagers from our school to do this project, and through doing that we've destroyed like about 300 bullets at the time of like the previous workshop, and then this time we did 100 more. So we've destroyed like 300 to 400 bullets, and we've saved that many lives in South Florida. And we've still been able to come together as a community, which has been really beautiful, because the Parkland shooting, which happened like 5 years ago now, it was really close to our school. So, a lot of kids at our school have actually like lost friends to the shooting, or were attached to like the middle school attached to the shooting. And so it's a very personal issue here in South Florida. And I think something like this gives them the outlet to um, sort of like experience all the emotions that they're experiencing
Mm.
on the anniversary of Parkland, but still in a way that is helping the issue. Like you're actively helping the issue, and you're helping prevent future gun violence deaths by coming together as a community. And I think like the way that the business aspect of that is that we'll make sure that we get as many people as possible at these workshops, because I think for Bullets for Life specifically, just the fact that it's such a fresh idea incentivizes a lot of people to come out, because like we've never seen something where you take something as serious as gun violence and then you put it in such an interesting, like kind of even fun context, right? Where you're just making bracelets.
Sure.
And it's like, I think for Bullets for Life specifically, just the fact that it's such a fresh idea gets a lot of people to come out, because every time we do it, we see more and more kids from our school just coming out to support, because they genuinely do enjoy those workshops.
Hmm.
Um, and so, of course, it's about publicity and everything, but more so, I think it's just about the meaning of the work that we're doing.
Yeah.
And the money that we're raising is just a byproduct of that.
Very cool. Matt?
Thank you.
You're very well spoken. You have a lot of skill already inside you. Where'd you learn? Like, where do you give credit for saying things that you've learned to even start a organization like this and a movement? Looking backwards to your younger self, where did you learn all of this?
I'd say when I was younger, I've always like, I mean, I've always grown up in an environment where specifically like my grandmother, like she's always taught me to, like care for other people, and like that it's important that, you have privilege, you should use it, right? You should help other people with the resources that you have and with the mind that you have. And so I think that like I've always been someone who's had a lot of ideas, but and follow through has never been a problem for me, because when I have like something set in mind, like I will always like do as much as I can to get there. So I think that when I was little, like anytime I would have an idea, I was fortunate enough to grow up in like a family that would support me and help me achieve all my ambitions. So like when I was little, like even it started with like little like bake sales, or like, like garage sales, things like that. Like I remember when I was really little, like I might have been like 10 or like 7 or 8, and we fundraised. So I lived in India, and so there was like an earthquake that had happened in Nepal, like just like a couple weeks before, and some of my friends actually had family there who had passed away, and so we fundraised for, an organization there just by doing like a little bake sale, and then I did like a piano concert. So just taking like things that I knew how to do, and find ways where I could use those same talents and passions that I had to help other people. I think is how it started, and then like today, I do like at my school like Model UN, which I think has really really helped me grow as like a person, because although it's like not like you're not, with real like delegates from the UN and everything, you're still learning how to talk to people and how to lead. Like I think that's the biggest thing that MUN has taught me, is that I can like get people, like leadership to me is motivating people towards a common goal. And so through Model UN, like that's how I do that, right? Like I've learned how to talk with people my own age and motivate them and inspire them to work together to achieve something. Um, and so, yeah, I think like the stuff that I do in school has definitely helped my work through Action Pact, um, in addition to obviously my family and the environment I've grown up in.
Very impressive.
Very,
Thank you.
very. So I asked the question when you signed up about kind of where do you see yourself in the next 12 months. You talk about how much money you'd hope to raise, and then the new chapters. So how many chapters do you have now?
So right now we have 6 chapters, but there's 3 that are operational right now, and then there's 3 more that are going to be operational by the beginning of next school year.
And what's the governance structure there of these chapters? Are you like the mafia boss, breaking legs if people get out of line, that sort of like what's your how do you lead? What's the structure there?
Okay, so I'd say like the chapters are definitely like to me this organization has always been about empowering other people to lead as well. So like I would definitely not say that I'm like,
I know.
overbearing or
I
anything.
know.
Um I more so just like the projects that they do, um they have to like I have like a Google form and stuff set up, so like they'll like propose like a project, and I'll just look over it to make sure, like I haven't thankfully had to like deny anyone anything, but we'll just make sure that like we don't want the name of our organization to go onto something that is not for the common good of people, right? Like I wouldn't really support something if it was like fundraising for a political campaign or something like that. Like we want to stay sort of as unbiased and impartial as we can, so as not to alienate anyone.
Sure.
Um,
Pick your
and that's why,
battles.
and that's why we always like make sure that like the chapters presidents will always like propose the project first, and then I'll just like look over it and be like, that's great, and then I'll offer any sort of like guidance that I have just from like the experience that I've had organizing projects. Um, to say that like if you need this, like I can help you with this, whatever. And like one of the chapters is like actually really close to our school. It's like another school in the same area, so like we always are there to help them like if they need anything. And so yeah, I'd say like my role as like the leader of the organization as a whole is more so to provide support and assistance to the other chapter presidents, and teach them how to lead in the same way that I've been able to.
Yeah.
Because like I think that the way that we're expanding right now, like it's just not feasible for me to kind of like um, organize things in other chapters, and like you know what I mean. Like it's not feasible for me to uh, be president of those chapters. It's more so about delegating responsibilities to them. But yeah.
Yeah, it's a
Hey,
different
I've got a
model. Go ahead, Matt. Sorry.
yeah, I've got a question. You've outlined some real value that you're adding Anya, to vision, organization, leadership. And I was having this discussion this week with some fellow entrepreneurs. What's the right, and I'm curious your opinion on this, what's the right compensation for you as a leader in a social entrepreneur entity?
Mhm.
For scalability and sustainability, someone like you needs to get paid. What
Yeah.
have you paid yourself yet? And if not, when will you? And what? How do you view compensation for a leader in a nonprofit, cause-based world?
Okay, that's a good question. Right now, I haven't paid myself anything, obviously. But I think like, excuse me, maybe like as time goes on, definitely like not until I graduate high school, but like after high school in college, I'd say I would like eventually like to register Action Pact as a nonprofit, so I can keep growing. And I think at that point, once like I'm like a legal adult, like I would want to uh maybe like compensate myself. But I think like to me, like I've always seen Action Pact as something that I've just done like just out of the goodness of my heart. Like it's
Volunteer,
not something that,
right?
yeah, like it's not something that I really want to compensate myself for. But I think definitely like volunteers who like work with us, things like that. Like if people are like making that their entire career, which I don't envision this as being like my entire career realistically, because I think I would like to go into something that I can get paid from, but then have this as like my passion project, like which I work on, but I don't get compensated from. Like that's not something I've ever seen out of it. But I think that I would obviously need to compensate um like people who work with us, if that is like their main job that they're doing. So I don't know like about an exact number or anything right now, but um just because I'm sorry, like I can't think about that right now. But um like I do believe that, like leaders of like social entrepreneurship efforts, like they do deserve compensation so long as that's their main like avenue of income in their life. So
Yeah,
yeah.
like United Way and Red Cross, those leaders have
Yeah.
compensated executives, right? And so
Yeah.
I was curious. So thank you about that. And so tell us what you envision yourself doing in the future.
Okay. I'm not entirely sure as to what I want to do in the future, but I think the way things are going right now, I really like international relations and politics, like in that area. So I think what I would probably want to do is study like international relations in college, and then maybe work in like the United Nations or something to that effect, just where I can like help people from like a global standpoint rather than just like within the US, because so much of my life is tied to India right now and tied to like another country. So I just feel like, irrespective of where people live in the world, like I want to be able to help. Like I don't want to just be able to help people in the US. So I think international relations is something that I would want to go into, because obviously Model UN and stuff, like it has provided me with a lot of experience in that area. So I think it's something I really like. But yeah.
Well, I'd like to pick up on Matt's comment around the compensation.
Mhm.
And, I've done social entrepreneurship and we work for a foundation where we compensated people who are doing, good work like yourself. As this thing grows, these questions are going to become more and more intense. I mean, the time pressure that's going to come to you, if it's successful, right? You would hope this would not be 6, but like 600, and maybe
Yeah.
they're in other countries. And because the idea that you're describing, empowering young people to lead and to make change, I mean, that's hugely important. I mean, for me, that to me is like one of the most important things that could happen in our world. Young people taking ownership of this broken place that old people like me and Matt have built. But as you do that, right, you'll need websites built, you'll need marketing dollars, you'll need, media options and presence. I mean, there's a lot of things that are going to start pressing.
Yeah.
And whether it's you or somebody else, at some point, this cash question is going to come up.
Yeah.
Personally, I would encourage you to think about how do you, they call it a triple bottom line, making good, helping the world, um, um, also compensating yourself. And I can't remember what the third bottom line is. I don't remember what that is, but because otherwise this talent that I'm looking at, this wonderful young person who is so talented, might go off in a direction and leave this seed to someone else who may not be as capable or not. And so that to me is what I worry about, that you will be drawn in. Heck, you might get married, you might have family, you may want to go on a trip, you may want to buy a car, right? These will be pressures that will come. And yeah, so okay.
And I would just say, don't be afraid to organize it now as a teenager. There's nothing that says you have to wait till you're 18 or adult. Organize now. Feel free to create that nonprofit, file the paperwork, create a model where you take 5% or 10% of a workshop as compensation. A reasonable amount. That is because your leadership value is huge. So I want you to create confidence that you can compensate for that skill you have.
Yep.
Okay.
And it'll bless even infinitely more people if you are able to figure out how to compensate yourself and lead others to make change. That's how things happen at greater scale.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I
And it's
understand.
something to think about.
Yeah.
And I'll just one more piece, and sorry to like two old guys beating on you about this, but I have given away, 6-figure grants to people who have done less than you are doing right now. And and they, there's compensation structure, there's CEO and, finance, et cetera, the board. So to Matt's point, I think you're already there. I think it's just really a question of whether you believe that this thing is a nonprofit, and do you want to step into that space and to build it out. But I think you're already there, and I have no doubt that given what I've seen today, that there will be lots of people who would want to step right behind you and say, here's some compensation, here's some money to help grow this thing. Here's some ideas, here's some other leverage to help you grow this thing, and who knows where it'll go. So anyway, enough on that.
And you don't have to. If you don't, that's totally great. We honor and respect that decision 100%. But we see some real talent in you.
No doubt.
So we wish you all the best.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
Okay, so having said all that, we just got our next applicant. Anya, so here's what, again, very impressed with your work, and really hope it will continue. Would love to stay in touch with you. I don't know, did you get the note about the networking event next week?
Yes.
You've got a conflict.
Yeah, I let you know about that already.
That's right. Okay, well, there'll be others in the future. So, but as far as the process for the entrepreneurial award, next week we'll have finished our interviews, and so we will let all the applicants know who the finalists are, and invite the finalists to the last phase of the process. So keep an eye out for next week, and keep a hold on the weekend of the 20th in case you are part of that finalist team. All right.
Okay.
Cool.
Thank you so much.
Any questions for us?
No, I think that's perfect. Thank you.
All right. Great talking with you, and keep up the good work. Looking forward to hearing more about your work in the future too. Okay.
Thank you. It was amazing talking with you too.
Awesome.
Have a good day.
You too.
My hope for humanity is
She's great.
Yeah, definitely. This is the real challenge, though. I think what you described with a social entrepreneur who's doing great work, making that mental switch from I'm just trying to help to I'm helping, and the way I can help is by making sure I continue to be able to help because I can feed myself, pay my bills, etc. That's a big shift.
No, it really was a conversation we were having this week around that, and I think it's important to just identify it's okay to compensate for competency.
Yeah,
that's kind of the conclusion. Is we want to celebrate and compensate competency.
Right.
and
Right.
he's got it, and well deserved. So
Yep. Okay, so let's pivot. And so, Arshad, can you hear me? Just nod your head if you can. Okay, so we're running a little bit late, and so what I might suggest is can you log back in maybe 10, 15 minutes, and then if you've got time, and then we'll keep moving on. All right. Okay. Good deal. So next up, we've got Spencer. Hey, Spencer, you can hear me? Let me bring you into the conversation. Here we go. I think this is the right one. Whoops. Not quite. There. Hey, Spencer, how are you?
Pretty good. How are you?
Very, very well. Nice to meet you, and great to hear more about. Looking forward to hearing more about your work and your business. I had a friend of my son who was involved with airsoft, and I've seen some stuff online, and that looks so. It's like, what is it, paintball, but just amped up a level, right?
Yeah. One of the big differences is with airsoft, you might be able to see some of the stuff behind me right here.
Yeah.
You can get super realistic with it, and a lot of people just love that aspect of the sport.
Yeah, yeah. So here's what we'll do, Spencer. We're going to spend, a minute or two having you tell us about your work and what you're working on, and your business, kind of who your customers are, what you're learning, and then we'll have some conversations about that afterwards. Does that sound okay?
Yeah, sounds great.
Great. Okay, you have the floor.
Okay. So just to start, hi, my name is Spencer Robbins. I live in Christiana, Tennessee, the United States of America. I run a business called Robbins Airsoft that I started last year. Robbins Airsoft is an e-commerce store built on the WordPress platform. My business offers information about airsoft and the products that people need to get involved in this sport. In my business, I have focused my efforts on educating people about what airsoft is, how to play it, and what products are available on the market. Many people who would enjoy the airsoft sport do not know much about it. By educating teens and young adults about airsoft, I am helping to grow a customer base and gain trust from potential customers. I review products and help people who are interested learn how to get started with airsoft. My business is currently in the startup phase. I recently started getting traffic to my website and earning revenue from affiliate links and orders. In the last month, I have had about 65 visits to my website and received my first 2 orders. The people most interested in my business are teens and young adults who are interested in finding a hobby. Airsoft is actually a good alternative for a group who spends a lot of time playing video games. Airsoft rounds create a video game like experience and also has the benefits of exercise and physical interaction with others without the downsides of extended technology use. That is why there's a huge potential in this industry. The more people that learn about airsoft, the more popular it becomes. I've learned quite a bit through starting my own business. I realized that with an online business, there's a ton of work that has to be put on up front before you can actually make any profits. Many people give up during the initial stages of this type of business, and it can be challenging because as an entrepreneur, you have a lot of hats to wear. I've had to learn how to design and build a website on the WordPress platform. This includes setting up payment and shipping modules and building relationships with suppliers to have access to sell their products. I spent a lot of time trying to get the website to look good and a wide selection of products. In order to market my business, I've created 25 YouTube videos to funnel traffic to my website. And I have also used those videos to as affiliate opportunities. I currently have 72 YouTube subscribers, and I've had 20,000 views on my videos since I started my channel in January. I've invested over 100 hours of work before getting my first order. And after building my website, I turned my efforts to CEO marketing and posting videos to get traffic to my site. It has taken perseverance and dedication to get to this point. It would have been easy to give up when I was putting in a bunch of time without making any money, but the work has paid off, and now I have money coming in and traffic to my site that will continue to grow. Okay, so that's a little bit about my business. Do you guys have any questions?
Nicely
great
done.
summary, Spencer. Yeah, nicely done.
So
Thank
I'm
you.
going to bring up your website. I'm sorry, your YouTube page. And let me get you pushed in here. Um, yeah, so here's your YouTube page. And now you're doing these yourself?
Yeah, I make them completely from scratch.
Very cool.
I
Very
take
cool.
that back. I sometimes use stock photos in my videos when I'm explaining stuff.
Of course. Of course.
So,
So this one's got 2,000 views. That's a lot of views.
yeah, so that's actually a very popular airsoft gun. That's actually this one right behind me on the wall.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Also, the if you scroll to the top, that first video I posted a couple days ago,
This one here?
and it has about 100 views so far. But kind of what I'm doing right now is I'm buying used airsoft guns and reviewing them, and then trying to sell them, and make a little bit of profit on them. So it's kind of like a win-win situation.
Huh.
So,
Very cool. Very cool. Okay, let's get to the questions. So I know you're working with your dad on this a little bit. So what's the separation between your work, his work? How do you all work that out?
so he made his whole living off of doing online businesses like this, and I decided back in December, I was taking some college courses actually through online college in Utah, and I decided I want to try out building a business, and so I'm like, my dad does this and he knows everything and all the little tricks about it, so I just asked him to help me get it set up and all that, and so he basically just gives me tips where I need it, and for the main part, it's just me by myself.
Nice.
So tell me how you learned WordPress and making website and SEO and affiliate marketing. Like besides your dad, where else did you turn to learn some of that stuff?
Just a lot of googling, actually. Just having to look up, like I on my website. I'm like, I want this to look a certain way, but I'm not sure how to do it. So I just use Google. Luckily, I have that in my generation,
Yeah.
and yeah, I just go in there and plug in some stuff, copy some code, and get it to look right.
So you
Have
built
you
this?
experimented with chat GPT or AI to do any of that stuff yet?
Yeah, I have. Actually makes it a lot easier to product descriptions. It would take me like half an hour to do one product. Now with that, I basically just have to tell it what it needs to talk about and all that, and it writes it out, and then I basically just have to critique it to make it look um, like realistic and something that Google actually wants to show to people.
That's awesome.
And you built this website.
Yes, sir. Um, Originally it just had a bird on the front page and a picture of my family, so it's come a long way.
Yeah, this yeah, hey, this looks a lot better than that. I'll tell you. It's a really nice looking website. Um, okay, so I wanted to ask you. Yeah, this is actually how popular is this? Because I again I'm just not in that space. But is this something that's really, because it's pretty expensive? I was looking at some of the products there. I mean, a lot of people do this.
Yeah, so actually when I first got started with airsoft, my cousin was just like, hey, do you want to go play airsoft? And I was like, what's airsoft? And he took me to this thing, and it was they have airsoft fields around the country. There's probably like 10 or so in Tennessee where I
Huh.
live. There's a ton in Texas too, but so we went there, and there was about 600 people there,
Holy
and
smokes!
a lot of them, because it was the 10-year anniversary. It's usually about 1 to 200 people, but the field admission pass is about $25. So already, you're spending a lot of money on that. And then I looked at some of the guns that they had, and these guns behind me, they're mostly entry level and beginner guns. And some of these people have up to like $1,000 guns that they just, it's their hobby, so they spend tons of money on it, and that's where I
Yeah,
saw a great opportunity.
yeah, it's their hobby. Wow. Do you target young people or just anybody who's interested in this?
Pretty much anybody. It's a little bit harder to deal with younger people, but um, they're a lot more like ready to get into it, and so they're whereas an adult who maybe have has already been doing it for a while, they won't need a helmet and vest and all that. Um, they're just looking for upgrades versus like youth where I went in, I bought like I worked my tail off to dig in gardens for my dad and bought like $500 worth of stuff just to get the beginner level gear.
It's amazing what we do when we need money. We will find a way to add value. Matt, let me ask one more quick question. Tell me about what do you know about your customers so far?
So like I said, a lot of them I think it's a really good opportunity because a lot of the youth, they're a lot of them are video gamers and they like to play like stuff like Fortnite on computers and stuff. And I personally, I'm not a very big fan of video games at all. I think it's a lot better to get out into the real world and experience more. That's why I started this business and all. But I think airsoft is a great opportunity because it's not lethal or anything unless once in a while you someone will get a tooth shot out, but that's pretty rare.
A tooth?
A tooth, yeah.
They're that
So
powerful?
yeah, they shoot around 300 to 400 feet per second, and they're
But they're
these little
soft.
plastic.
Yes, plastic balls.
They're
Yeah, they're
not
these right
soft.
here.
They sting.
Yeah, I made this mistake of buying like fingerless gloves right here, and every time I go, I get hit in the fingers, and it kills. But I still love it. It's awesome.
Well, it sounds like it. Matt, I'll let you go. I've got lots more questions, but go ahead, Matt.
Yeah, a couple questions, Spencer. Number one is have you ever hosted an event? Are you thinking about doing like a competition? A lot of, what you talked about, even renting out a field and just running it yourself is one way to generate sales and awareness of your business. Have you ever thought about doing an event?
Yeah, I've been thinking it'd be super cool to do something like that, but just the startup cost for something like that would be, uh, it's gonna take a little bit to get prepped for that.
Got it. And then tell me about your schooling. What is your education day to day look like?
So I'm homeschooled, so that alone gives me a lot more time to have more time to do stuff like this. We basically once we get our math and our spelling and reading, and I also play the cello and a couple other instruments. So once we get all that done, then we're free to do basically whatever we want, unless my mom has some farm work or something for us to do. Yeah. Uh, One thing that I want to point out was really funny to me. I have some friends that go to public school, and I've been homeschooled since kindergarten, and they're telling me about this class where they basically just sit and do coloring pages, and another class where they watch movies and write pictures on that. And I'm like, how much you're learning in a day from public school? You could, if they were like the most efficient about it, they could get it done in like 2 to 3 hours. And that's something so great about homeschool. I could just get it done and be done by like noon,
Yeah. Yeah.
even if I sleep in, and
Yep.
then have the
So
whole
true.
day.
So true. Okay, let me jump in here. So, other questions for you, Spencer. So, you said you've got your first couple of customers in the last few weeks or so.
Yes, sir.
And how did those come to you? How did you hear about them? How did they find you?
So surprisingly, I have riot shields on my website. So they're basically big glass or not glass polycarbonate shields that are see through, and people use them in airsoft and that. So I was writing some articles and stuff for riot shields, and I started ranking for like number 8 on Google for the term airsoft riot shields. So I started getting a lot of clicks to that, and I was pretty surprised because that's not even something I'm really targeting. And I've gotten 2 orders for that. I made about like 60 to 80 bucks on it.
Hmm.
Um, so which like that's a great margin. Usually at first you might get something where you make like 10
Yeah.
bucks on it.
Yeah. So you're realizing that some of your work is more it produces more customers than others. And you said you were writing for what again?
Just for my channel, for sorry, my business. I have a blog, and you
Oh,
basically to just increase your ranking on Google, you'll blog about certain things, and it will boost up your what Google. Um, because when
yeah.
Google sees your business, they go and they index it and see if it's something they don't want to show the customer, and so articles about that product and subject really help it.
Boy, you're really getting skilled on online marketing and online sales. That's really, really great.
Yeah, I love it. How old are you, Spencer? You said?
I'm 14. I'm turning 15 in August.
Very impressive, man. Nice work.
Definitely, definitely. All right,
Yeah, it
so
runs in the family.
yeah, it sounds like it. Yeah, these things do. I think actually, the parent who's like, you know what, I know we know how to make money in this family. Let's get started. You don't have to wait until you're 25 to get started doing that. You can do it at 12 or
I love
whatever.
it. Yeah. So tell about what's your future? What do you see you doing in the next 5 years even?
So I have some pretty interesting plans. I have a friend who keeps calling me crazy because I just do so much stuff. But the plan is to get a good income coming off from this, and hopefully by the time I turn 16, I can actually afford to start dating and not go broke from that.
Let me. I got some bad news for you, Spencer. Once you start dating, you'll always go broke,
Dang it.
regardless of the income.
Hey,
No, I
maybe
love it. All right,
miracles
keep
will
going. Then
happen.
you've got money flow coming in for dates. Then what?
Yeah, so I'm also doing music and stuff, and actually have another YouTube channel where I just uh, play cello songs and try to get um, some views off that. It's pretty startup. And then also, I'm taking like a pilot's class right now. I'm planning on getting a pilot's license, so who knows where that could take me. But my future, I have so many options right now. I just have to. I have a couple years to pick one and stick with it.
I love hearing that because I think honestly, Spencer, I think most kids are like you. They have a bunch of different interests and they don't seem to connect. Like cello, airsoft, flight, I don't see a connection, but that's what most humans are. They're just interested in things. And I've got a daughter who's 17, a few years ahead of you, and she's in that space now where she's going to need to narrow a little bit. But it's really cool to hear a young person who has such diverse interests, and I can think of different revenue opportunities that can come. By the way, are you near a relatively large town? I don't know, like, are you urban, rural? Where?
Yeah, so we're just kind of on the outskirts of what used to be the capital of Tennessee. It's called Murfreesboro.
Okay.
It's about like a half hour to an hour south of Nashville.
Well, the reason I ask this is because there's a huge and growing live music scene. And I wouldn't be surprised if you I don't know your capabilities, but if you offered yourself up to at a coffee shop or someplace, and who knows, you might have opportunities there as well. But live music has really grown dramatically in the last few years. So another interesting opportunity. So
Yeah, actually, my sister has me playing for a wedding. We're signed up to play in this next month.
fantastic.
Hey, small world, Matt and Spencer. I was in Murfreesboro, Tennessee last November. So I've been there. It's a cool,
Should
cool
come over.
town.
I'll give you a tour.
I know. I didn't know you then. That's cool. Next time.
Yeah. Okay. So but Matt, other questions?
No, that's good, Spencer. Nice work. You're way ahead of where any startup could be by a 14-year-old and even by an adult. So keep up the good
Definitely.
work.
Yeah, definitely.
Thank you.
Any questions for us, Spencer?
Um, I'm kind of interested. What do you guys like? How did you get from like building up businesses and stuff to like running these shows or whatever?
I don't know, Matt. You want to try to answer that? Not sure.
So we just found each other, Spencer, and we both share the same passion around entrepreneurship and education and helping families to think differently about education. You're already doing that, and so we love to highlight families who and youth who already are demonstrating that there's more to education than just sitting in a classroom. And you're a perfect example of that. And we just wanted to highlight stories like that as much as we can to inspire others to do the same.
Yeah. And Spencer, there's actually something a little more specific for me. I was on vacation and was approached by two young, well, they're boys. They were 10 and 11 in Galveston, Texas, and they were selling candy. And it was clear that they did not have many prospects, if I could say it that way. They were in a traditional school. They were hungry. They were energetic, like they were wanting to become entrepreneurs, but they had no idea how to do it. And within about 5 minutes of talking with them, they started to realize blind spots they had around entrepreneurship. And I gave them my number, hoping that their parent would call me so I could continue that relationship and grow these kids, because they're not going to work out in school. I could just tell from talking to them. I never heard from them. But those kids, if we could have gotten them connected, thinking about entrepreneurship, the things that you're learning, these kids were hungry to learn those things, but they're not going to learn them, and therefore they're likely going to get, stuck. And so for me, it was this awareness that there are young people who have these opportunities, and then there are young people who don't. And so we're trying to elevate people and highlight people like yourself, so that other young people can go, wait a second, he's only, whatever. What did you say? You're 14?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, he's 14. He's already got a business going. Like, maybe I could do it too. So that's kind of what our hope is, that we can make that a possibility. So, yeah.
Yeah, I can kind of relate to that. I've tried like mowing businesses, chicken hatching businesses, and they just didn't work out. I just kind of got to bounce off until you find the right area. And I think I did this time.
Well, you never know, and you just keep pivoting and expanding and growing and learning along the way. So I think you're in great shape, Spencer. Great talking with you. We're gonna let people know next week who's in the final round, and so look for an email around that one way or the other. And again, hold May 20th in case you are in that final round, because that weekend we're going to have a couple of opportunities for you to present and things like that. So more to come. Spencer, thanks for joining us today, and we'll talk to you soon. Hope to stay in touch.
Okay, thank you.
Take care.
Thanks, Spencer.
Okay, you too. See you later.
Okay, Matt, we've got our last applicant in the green room, I think. Oh, nope, I lost him. But he'll come back. I think he's having some tech issues. He bounced in and out a couple times already, so maybe he'll come back. I wonder, Matt, is it possible that kids can get inspired to pursue entrepreneurship and stay in the traditional educational space? It seems like they're just opposed. Arshad will be with you in just 1 second. Stay right there in the green room for me, okay, buddy? Okay, so Matt, what are your thoughts? Do
we have plenty of examples of kids that do both. Some of our early interviews, they would sit in their traditional classrooms, excited for school to get over to go work on their business.
Yeah.
But others would tap into the school system support to help their business. So it's not completely at odds, but it sure is. It's a different way of thinking. So either way, if it's more of the mindset change, sometimes more so than the physical change.
Yeah. Well, I'm encouraged and discouraged at the same time. So let's bring on another hopefully encouraging young person. Arshad, how are you? Arshad, can you hear me okay?
I don't think I can hear you.
Okay.
So I think I should disconnect and join again.
Do that. Okay. So maybe having a little technical issue there, but
is he from Tennessee, or did you update?
He's from Singapore. He's definitely not from Tennessee.
Update his location on that.
Yes. Thank you. Let me do that right now. Singapore. There we go. So yeah, we'll wait for him to come back in. How you holding up, Maddie? We got another 15 minutes. Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah, this is awesome.
Yeah. So this young man, he's been doing some social enterprise as well. So Matt, the mindset, that's I think maybe that's the key, right? So if you have a mindset that I need to get a job, then all roads lead to changing myself to be marketable for a job. If the mindset is I want to create value and I want to be engaged in my labor, then what are the things I'm interested in and how do I create value? Because if I'm interested in it and now the internet connects me to the entire world, there's other people who have that same interest. I mean, I think Spencer's conversation was a perfect example of a niche that he can dominate as a 14-year-old if he continues on this thing.
Yeah, it's so true. It's kind of like asking the question of with which communities do you want to be involved and find ways to add value there. Right? And he wanted to be in airsoft, but he also likes to be in music. He also likes to be in, airplanes. And so it's okay to have multiple pursuits. And sometimes we teach kids that you have to there's only one path.
Yes.
And that's what's most damaging, really, is if we tell people there's only one path to success,
Yeah.
then it frustrates more than it helps.
Yep. I think that's right. Well, I'll tell you, just as we're waiting on Arshad to join us again, my daughter, my 17-year-old, she was in a play last night. She was excellent. There were probably 20 people in the play overall, and she was of the top two performers. This was at a local college, and so she's 17, and the others are in their 20s. And she's interested in flight, and she loves Civil Air Patrol and leadership, and trying to figure out how do you knit those very different interests together is really actually fun, but it's also scary for her because the world keeps saying narrow, find your one path. And I'm trying to say, well, I wonder if she's thinking about Air Force Academy. I wonder if Air Force Academy is looking for a young person with the skills that you bring, right? We don't know that, and they may very well may be, but I don't know. It's a tough place to figure out how to support her. Any ideas or thoughts?
More just the macro scale of entrepreneurship is serial entrepreneurs have lots of different businesses. It's the experience of business. It's not always just the content area, right?
Yeah.
And so there more entrepreneurs that I meet have a candy company and a software business, or and that's okay. And it's really around, once you learn some of the skills of entrepreneurship, it helps you then apply it into areas of your interest.
Yeah.
And for example, I told you I started recently a pickleball company, right?
Right.
And so I'm interested in that community. I'm interested in that area, and I'm an entrepreneur. So of course I see opportunities to add value. And it's just what I've learned over the years, right? So you just find things you're interested in and see how you can add value, and it makes it really fun.
So what stage are you with that company? Is it like a club, or how does it work?
Yeah, so we've got two parts of it. One's a product company where it's paddle tape for pickleball paddles that have interesting colors, designs, and phrases. And then we also started a local professional league where we had a tryout and a draft and a league. It's super fun. So those are
Nice.
examples of just starting businesses in areas you're interested in.
Yeah. Well, like I said, I'll be in hopefully be in.
I still don't think
you're
I
not-
can hear
Oh
any
shoot.
of you. No.
Is there a way to comment to him around checking his speaker?
Let me see if I can.
Nothing on your side shows his
No, it's on
speaker or
probably on his
microphone
side.
setting.
Let me send him a note.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm guessing he's already checked his settings, but Yeah, I'm not sure what to do here. Matt, why don't we do this? If he's having technical issues, what we might do is I can just schedule him for a one-on-one and then record that.
That's good.
Instead of holding us up here. And I think he's responding to my email. Yeah. Okay. Well, let's do this. I will just reach out to him individually and figure out how do we make that work. So we'll try one more time. Arshad, any luck?
No. I think I should connect to another device and then try again.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. We'll try to do it quickly. Matt, you got a few more minutes?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Let's see if we can get this done in the next 10, 15 minutes at most.
I'll tell you more about the Dallas trip. We went to, so again, it's a group of entrepreneurs that go to different cities every year to just learn. Right? I mean, it's the epitome of education. We just reach out to companies that people know in our group, and we just say, hey, can you let us come visit and just tell us your story, your founding story. And we just, it is so educational, so helpful.
I'll bet.
And just love it. That we went to Built, that app. We talked to the founder, and they just told us the whole story. It was a spin out from SAP, and a big company had this app that they were building and didn't fit in their model, so they spun it out.
Oh, wow.
And so just really interesting on how they did that. We went to I mentioned the Dallas Cowboys practice facility, had a tour of that. And, that's an $8 billion sports franchise.
What?
That's the appraised value of Dallas Cowboy Inc.
$8 billion.
Yeah, it's the largest sports franchise on the planet. Way bigger than Premier Leagues.
You're
hockey
kidding.
league,
I had no
NBA.
idea.
Yeah, number one is Dallas Cowboys.
I had no idea.
Yeah, the next closest is New England Patriots, and it's like $6 billion. I mean, it's crazy numbers, but Dallas is quite a bit bigger than anyone else.
Why? What's different about their shop and their work?
Just their longevity, and they were one of the originals, and they've had such success over the years.
Yeah.
And they really just have invested in that brand for a long time.
Brand. Very strong brand.
And but I know that they're hungry for some Super Bowl trophies that they haven't had for a while.
Yes, they are.
So that's a big challenge when you have that type of valuation and you're not winning championships. That creates a pretty stressful environment, I imagine.
Yeah. So how do you get connected with these entrepreneurs? Is it just networking of?
Yeah, just networking. We've got a group here in Utah that, there's probably about 50 or 60 of us that are just part of an entrepreneurship group. We mentor students in high school and college, and then we go on an annual trip to kind of expand our own awareness. And
yeah. Rashad, can you hear us?
No.
Well, how did you hear us then?
I'm joining from another device, so.
So you're hearing us from one device and communicating on the other? Is that what you're doing? Oh, he's not hearing us at all.
No.
Okay.
All right. Well, we'll catch him another time.
Okay, I'll call him and we'll talk. All right, Matt. Well, listen, thanks, man. Thanks for joining. Thanks, folks, for joining the conversation today, and hope this was valuable. Hopefully you are learning about I'm looking finally. Michael Pell and a few others have had some comments here about Anya. We're going to get her connected with some folks to help grow her shop and think about how to grow her
People
business.
Want to support her. Yeah,
definitely. Oh, well, we'll do one more time.
No.
Hey, any luck? Nothing? Still? Nothing?
Yeah.
Okay. I will call you.
Okay.
I will call you. Okay. All right, Matt. Thanks, man. We'll see you next time, buddy.
Yeah, great to chat.
You too,
Double
bud.
MB's out. Thanks,
All right,
man.
we're out. See you, bud. Bye-bye.